Hey friends, it's Judy Clock, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Middletown, Virginia, coming to you tonight with another tutorial. And I wanted to say this one was inspired by my events this past weekend. Friday and Saturday, I had my monthly workshops, and on Sunday, I had my catalog kickoff open house. And I used a technique that really was new to a lot of folks, and I guess it's one that we don't really think of, but it's making use of our blender pens. So everyone was really excited by this technique. So I thought I would just come on this week and do a quick tutorial refresher on how to use our blender pens with both ink pads and with our watercolor pencils. So let's swap out the cameras and let's get started on this week's tutorial. I always forget how to do this. There we go. All right, so that is my desk. I'm trying to hopefully get it right. There we go. So I cut out two floral pieces from the new, it will be coming in May, the Artisan Sketched Garden Designer Series paper. And I like this paper because it's all black and white sketches, and I love black and white sketches because you can use them to do absolutely anything you want. So I'm going to bring this down just a little bit closer so that you can see what we're going to be working on. Okay, hopefully that's good. Turn on the light. Okay, so I have here, I picked 4 watercolor pencils from our watercolor assortments. I have 2 from assortment 1 and 2 from assortment 2. These are the watercolor pencil assortments. And these are great because they're great for adding color very quickly. So I'm going to color our vase here with Balmy Blue. And depending upon how hard you press, you can get lighter or darker. So let's say I wanted it to be a little bit darker on the bottom. I'm going to press much harder with my pencil. And don't worry about those white gaps. Excuse me, my allergies are out of control. And as I go up, I'm going to press a little bit lighter so that the deeper color will be at the bottom of my image. Now, don't worry about going all over the place. These lines will all be smoothed out when we use our blender pens. I'm just going to go ahead and color my whole image. I've got garden green here. I'm going to add some green to the leaves again. I'm shading a little bit darker towards the bottom and then lighter as I go up. Okay, this is just a great way to add color quickly. All right, there's not too many. I kind of pick images where there wasn't too much to color. All right, I'm just going to color some of the tulips. I picked Daffodil Delight and Flirty Flamingo. I'm just going to kind of alternate where I am going with these. Okay, and then we're coming here with this is our Flirty Flamingo. All right, now that I have my image colored, I want to smooth out those pencil lines. So I'm going to take my blender pen, and the blender pen has like sort of a magic liquid in it. I don't know what else to call it other than that. Now, before I do it, you might see that the tip is somewhat discolored, but that's okay. I'm just going to rub it here on my paper to make sure there's no color on there. And then I'm going to start with one color. So I'm going to start with my blue, and I'm just going to rub my blender pen over that. And you'll see as I do, I can pull some of that deeper color up towards the top. I'm filling in those white spaces, and I am smoothing out my pencil lines. Okay, that's good. You don't want to put too much liquid because you can tear the paper. Now, to clean my tip, you'll see here I had a little bit of blue. I'm just going to keep rubbing it on my scrap paper until I have no color left. So you want to do color by color. So I'm going to work on the green next. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of pull some of that color up, color in those white spots, and clean that off. Now I'm going to go do the yellows. And what this does is it fills in the color in those spots that wasn't quite colored in, and it also smooths out the pencil lines. Right? So here we go. There we go. Now we've got that all done. Now look at how quick and easy was that. And we added some beautiful color to this particular image. And then you can take it and use it on a card just like this. See, I come down so you can see the technique, and then I got to pull it back up so that you can see the full card. So this is using the new Phrases and Frames stamp set that will be available in May. And I've also used the embossing plate to create some deeper impressions. So what do you think about that? Let me know what you think about that. And I added, for this one, I added a little bit of Wink of Stella. Now you'll see here, I kind of went a little bit lighter with my vase than I did here. I went a little bit darker. That's okay. That's the beauty of the watercolor pencils. You can go as light or as dark as you want. And that is the watercolor pencils with the blender pen. Now let's look at our new, I'm going to cap this up again. We're going to look at our new in colors. And I love these magnetic cases because you can actually open them one-handed. How fun is that? Just don't drop them on the floor. Ask me how I know this. Actually, I'm going to start with, I think, our Golden Glow, which is right here. I haven't put my stickers on the outside yet. I need to do that. But now you'll notice I have a little bit of ink in the lid, and that is the ink that I want to use for my flowers. So I'm going to, again, make sure my brush is clean. I'm going to rub it, and I'm going to pick up some color, and I'm going to color kind of where I want with my blender pen. So I'm adding a little bit of color using ink. I can just pick up the color and add it here. Again, I can go as light or as dark as I want. I don't want to saturate my paper though with the liquid from the blender pen, because sometimes it does tear the paper. So use a light touch. You don't have to press very hard to get that color on there. Again, cleaning my pen. Okay, let's go to the blue, the hydrangea hue. And look at that. One-handed opening. I love it. Cleaning off my pen. I'm going to color in my vase. Okay. So I want to go this way. Now, if I want to go darker on one side to add, like, make it look like there's a shadow, I can do that. I can go a little bit darker on one side. Right, and then I can just kind of go here and just color in the rest, and just pick up the color when you think it's getting lighter, too lighter than you want it to be, and just color in the image. All right, we're just going to color this in. Coloring is very relaxing. And the beauty is there's really like no right or wrong way. It's not supposed to look any particular way. So don't worry about it being quote unquote perfect. It won't be, and that's perfectly fine. Okay, we just want it to be colored in, and it almost looks like it's just kind of got that watercolor effect. All right, let's go do some green. Let's go to our greenery. I really like this. Well, you know that green's my favorite color anyway, but I really do like the new Peaceful Pine color. It's a great green. Okay. Sometimes, like, shaded spruce is a little too blue. Garden green is good. Olive green's a little yellow. Garden green's okay. But I think I really like the Peaceful Pine. I'm going to add, because our stems are usually green, right? So let's add a little greenery down there. Okay, so much for that. Let's color in our flowers with our crisp cantaloupe and our Barely blush. All right. Picking up the crisp cantaloupe. And let's do another one there. We'll do all the crisp cantaloupe kind of in a row. Clean that off. One more, and we'll come with our Barely blush. And to get the ink on the well, I just kind of squeeze the top and the bottom together, and that kind of comes then into the cover where I can pick up the ink and color it, use it to color my image. Okay. All right. And that is all that you have to do to add color with your blending pen and your ink pads. So when you're done, you can actually put it together and make a card that looks like this. And we're actually going to finish it and make this card. I've got here, it did add a little bit of Wink of Stella. I don't know if you can see it, just to kind of give it that little shimmer. This is the Birch embossing folder. That one is on the soon to be like the last chance list. But let me get my stamp set, which I think I very put away. I was trying to be so clean. Nope, I didn't. It's right here. Phew! I thought I put it away. I want to take out the Thinking of You, because we're going to make one card together with our pretty little vase that we just colored. Now, this stamp set I am featuring in my August Studio Circle workshops. Since Stampin' Up! Has gone to a 4-month calendar, I've kind of changed how I structure my classes, and I am doing a 4-month cycle. So in May, we'll be using Gears and Textures. June, we'll be using parts of the Silly Old Bear suite. July will be Sunset Coast or Scenic Coast, that suite. And then August will be the Phrases and Frames. So there we have, that's all the stamping we really need to do. I went ahead and I did the, I think it's called Lovely Stripes embossing folder. I'm going to go ahead and put this on the inside. All of these measurements will be on the inspiration sheet, which lives in the Crafty Collective Inspiration Vault for subscribers. You can subscribe. It's $9 a month. I add a new sheet almost every week. So far, it has been every week. I say almost because there might be a week when I'm sick or, life happens and I might not have a video. So there might be a week that is missed, not through any pre-planned adventure, just through the general vagaries of life. All right, we're going to go ahead. Oops, I can't even, I'm not doing this. We're going to put this on here. We're going to double stack these. I'm just kind of off-centering it, okay, to give it that double layered look. We're going to come in. I'm going to use liquid glue to put this on. This particular embossing folder makes a very deep emboss. Sometimes it will rip the paper, so I do recommend that you maybe spritz it with water first. That seems to help it from ripping, but definitely use liquid glue when you use this embossing folder so it doesn't rip your paper, because the embossing actually kind of weakens the fibers in your paper, makes them a little weaker. All right, now let's go ahead. I'm going to pop this on with some dimensionals. You know me, I love my dimensionals. I'm a dimensional girl. Love them. Okay, now these things don't want to come off. Sometimes they come off so easily when you don't want them to, and other times they are very difficult to pull off, and I don't know why that is. Okay, I'm going to put that there. Now I'm going to add this. I want this to kind of be a little bit on my sentiment label, but mostly off. So I know I need to put some liquid glue kind of in that corner, or Stampin' Seal. I'm going to be brave and go for a little bit of Stampin' Seal. Just a little bit. And then I'm going to put dimensionals on the rest of it. So I know that like this is all going to hang off. So we're going to put dimensionals, and I'm actually going to cut some of these little skinny edge pieces off so I can use these because as I'm going up, it's getting skinnier and skinnier. So put these here and maybe try to put one here. All right, that's going to have to work for now. All right, let's take these off. Let's put this on our card. Maybe. Wow, this is really having a hard time coming off. There we go. So remember, I put some adhesive on this bottom piece because that's going to be on my label, which is already popped up. So anything that hangs off now needs those dimensionals to kind of meet the height of the label. We'll finish this off with a little bling because we got to have some bling. If I can find my bling. I had everything cleaned up for this weekend. The studio looks so beautiful. And I was down here working yesterday, making cards for my class at Shenandoah Parks and Rec next Monday. And it is no longer neat and clean. So you win some, you lose some. I have a U-pick tool here somewhere on my desk, and it has managed to walk off. I don't know where it went to. But actually, I had two of them, and I'm missing both of them, so I don't know where they went to. I'm just going to pull off some rhinestones using my trusty paper snips. I'm just going to add them to my card front. Oops, where'd it go? I thought I picked it up. No? There we go. Okay, this one, of course, is upside down now. There we go. And that was done using the blender pen and let's pull this up a little bit, was done using the blender pen and the ink refills. So blender pen and ink refills, blender pen and watercolor pencils. And then you can also do it with stamped images. So I did the cutest crew. I stamped the dogs. This one I did with the watercolor pencils and the blender pen. And this one I did with the ink and blender pens. So you can use it either on designer series paper or on a stamped image. It doesn't really matter which one you do it with. It will work with either one. So that is it for this one. This was interesting. I like sometimes, you'll notice I have these kind of raised lines here. Sometimes I like to go on my scoring table, and I just scored it at 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch, and 3/4 of an inch. And then I rotated it 90 degrees, and I did the same thing. It's just a really kind of neat way to give a little bit of texture when you don't really want to have, you don't want a full embossing folder, but you just want that little bit of texture. So use your scoring tool to also add texture to your cards. That's my little pro tip for this evening. So again, all of these directions will live in my inspiration library. It is a subscriber only benefit. It is $9 a month. I add new sheets every week. So we're 14 sheets in there right now. After I get this one up, we'll have, there are 15. No, there's 14. I don't know. There's a lot of sheets in there right now. 14 or 15. I don't know. But at the end of this month, there should be 6. At the end of April, there should be 16 or 17 sheets in the inspiration vault. That's it for me tonight, folks. Have a great night. I will see you next week. Bye now.